One of the biggest eyesores in any bathroom is the caulk lines, especially when they start to darken with mold and mildew. But they're easier to fix than you think, and we'll even show you how we, the professionals, re-caulk around the tub so that you can do it too. But first, we'll need to gather all of our materials. And we'll need a roll of paper towels, a putty knife, a utility knife, and a caulk gun with a tube of caulk. You'll want to use any tube of silicone caulk, not siliconized. Silicone caulking is more stretchy and it's better at repelling the moisture that breeds mold and mildew. Anything within the $3 to $5 range should suffice, but we do recommend using GE brand caulking. And the caulk gun we're using today is just your standard Happy Homeowner caulk gun. This one just so happens to include a prong to pierce the seal inside the tube of caulk, as well as a place to cut the tip. All of which are super helpful and convenient, but not necessary. And all these materials should be around $35 from your local home improvement store. So now that we have all of our materials, it's time to get this party started. And we do that by removing all of the old caulking. So we're going to use the putty knife to make an incision along the length of the caulk line, on both the top and the bottom. And we're going to do this around the perimeter of the entire tub. It's not an exact science, so it really doesn't matter which wall you choose to start with. And once we get all of the existing caulk from around the tub removed, it's time to grab our star of the show, which is our tube of caulk. Using the sharp utility knife, carefully cut the tip of the caulk tube nozzle right on the score mark at an angle. Now, this can be a bit tricky because there is a right way and a wrong way to cut the nozzle. So observe how the incorrect cutting method leaves a gigantic hole, and that's much too large to control the bead size. But the correct cut is smaller, and therefore we'll have a lot more control with that one. If you are a bit unsure about cutting the caulk tube nozzle, you may want to purchase a backup tube of caulk. That way, if you happen to cut the first nozzle a little bit too big, you'll have backup on hand. Every tube of caulking will contain a plastic seal inside, and that's used to keep the caulk fresh. We'll need to pierce that with a wire, nail, screwdriver, or really anything else you have on hand. Once the seal's popped, you can load your caulk gun by sliding the tube of caulk into the barrel. Next, holding the gun over some paper towels, slowly squeeze the trigger. The caulk should flow freely, not squirt or drip. And we're going to let go of the trigger lock to relieve the light pressure inside the tube. Just like when we cut the caulk tube nozzle, there is a right way and a wrong way to squeeze the trigger. So let's practice on some paper towels first. We're going to focus on making sure the bead size is the same, there's no breaks in the caulk line, and that it doesn't squirt, drip, or bunch. When you feel ready, point the tube's tip at the seam between the tub and the walls, starting at the one that runs the length of the tub. And position the tube's tip slightly above the tub surface, almost touching. Take a look at the correct positioning, as it will help create a professional-looking line of caulking in the best possible spot. Once the gun is positioned correctly, pull the trigger and let the caulk flow. With one steady motion, move the caulk gun straight across the seam, creating a uniform and consistent bead. When you need to release the trigger, pause and then squeeze the trigger again gently. Keep going until you reach the corner. It is important to note that less is more, and it's always easier to add caulk later than it is to remove it. Now let's repeat the process on the two other walls and floor. Once all the caulk is in place, we'll smooth and remove the excess material by running a wet finger over the caulk lines. Make sure to have those paper towels handy to wipe up any excess material. And we'll wait about 24 to 36 hours before exposing the new caulk to moisture. By then, your tub should be ready for use. This DIY caulking project is painless and should only take about 20 minutes from start to finish, but it gives your bathroom a clean and updated look, so there's no excuse why you shouldn't try it too. Scratch this off your honey-do list and try your hand at some bathroom re-caulking this weekend.